Well, welcome to the Mundialista in Mar del Plata for the second test of two between Argentina and Scotland. The Scots made history last weekend when they became the first ever team to defeat the Pumas in Tucumán. Now they are aiming to make a second piece of history by recording their first ever away test series victory. And if they perform in the same manner as 7 days ago and their hosts are as generous in their concession of penalties, then they stand every chance of realising that goal. Well, the crowd and the players pumped up for this one. It is very rare that Argentina lose a home test series, but they lost that first international. Let's take a look at their lineup, and Argentina coach Santiago has made a few changes coming into this tie. Perhaps not as many as most expected, though, despite his side's lack of second half gusto a week ago. Agustín Figueroa, scrum half in place of Alfredo Lalane, the major change, with Lucas González Amorcino coming in for Luca Borges on the wing. On the bench, Santiago Guzman and Rafael Caballo come in with Nicolas Bagallo, the replacement halfback. Scotland's one change, the inclusion of Simon Danieli on the wing in place of Max Evans, who shuffles to outside centre, with Nick DeLuca going onto the bench. DeLuca replacing Jim Thompson, and Alistair Dickinson fit once more, taking the place of Jeff Cross, also on the bench. The man officiating this week is France's Christophe Berdo, and we have Dave Pearson of England, last week's referee, along with Stuart Dickinson as his assistants for today's international. It is a deafening sound here in Marina del Plata as we prepare for kick-off. Dan Parks, who scored all of Scotland's points in last week's 24-16 victory, will get us underway once again. They need a big performance from their number 10 if they're to get past the Argentines and make history by becoming the first Scottish side to win an away test series. Parks gets us underway then with a high start to the right-hand side of the pitch. Scotland in their usual navy blue strip with white shorts and navy blue socks, and the Pumas in their hooped sky blue and white shirts, white shorts and hooped socks. And Christophe Berdo straight away ensuring that there is a tidy ruck, and the ball kicked forward by Agustín Figueroa, and the Scots look to counter-attack with their big number 8, Johnny Beattie. Suffered a bit of a knock in last weekend's international, and as a consequence he was unsure whether he'd be starting today. That then carried forward by the hooker Rossford, who, interesting enough, makes his own bit of history today. The hooker equaling John Jeffrey's record of caps for a Kelso player. 40 is the total that Rossford wins today, equaling the great flankers' efforts in the past decade. Ball released back out to Parks, popped back inside. It's untidy ball from Scotland, but Argentina are offside, and Christophe Berdo letting the Argentines know very early on that they are offside, and it was Juan Martín Fernández Lob, the number 8, who was offside. And it is big Ali Kellogg winning his 27th cap for Scotland today. His second starting as skipper, became the 110th man to skipper Scotland from the off last weekend in that opening international, and a victorious start from him. He was, of course, the skipper on the pitch at the end of the November autumn international against Australia. Good position kicked for there by Dan Parks, taking play deep inside the Argentine 22, and Scotland were very strong in the line-out last weekend, and they are given the perfect opportunity to start here. One try in their last 4 tests. They didn't score one last weekend. They would dearly love to this time out. It's driven forward, good wedge, and they're just a yard short now. Great start this by Scotland, and they keep it in the forwards as they look for the line. Support just sniping around the edges there as the ball's carried forward by the big tight head prop Moray Lowe, trying to prevent the turnover just on the line. It's a try for Scotland, the punch in the air, and Christophe Berdo signals that Scotland have the dream start here. Well, congratulations all around there for big Jim Hamilton. First try for Scotland. What a time to get it on his 29th appearance for his nation. And the outstretched arm comes from the lock and he gets downward pressure. And Christophe Berdo right on hand there to signal that it is a try. Well, having said that they hadn't scored, well, they'd only scored one in their last 4 internationals, and scoring tries is always the biggest problem that Scotland have suffered from in recent years. They have the dream start here. 3 minutes gone, and they have taken the lead through a try from Jim Hamilton. And Dan Parks will have the possibility of adding the extras here. Not the easiest of conversion opportunities for the fly half, but his kicking was almost unblemished last week. Could be so once again here. Solid kicking performance from Parks, and you feel Scotland will rewrite that little bit of history for themselves. Struck well and true from Parks. 1 from 1 for the standoff, and Scotland with the perfect start here against Argentina, playing the Pumas at their own game, attacking around the flanks. And here Jim Hamilton, he drives into Juan Manuel Leguizamon, and he gets through the Stade Francais flanker, and well, I'd have to say it's questionable whether he got downward pressure ahead of the Argentine. Hand going under the ball, knocked forward there though by Argentina from the restart, so it'll be a scrummage to Scotland, and another chance for them here to consolidate this advantage of 7 points that they've just chalked up with solid base from the scrummage. Rory Lawson starting once again here.
Thank you.
9 playing with Dan Parks, the Gloucester scrum half preferred, ahead of Mike Blair. Chris Cussiter ruled out of this international, of course, still out with injury. Christophe Berdo with the first scrummage. It's collapsed, and so he's going to have words with the 2 front rows here.
Easy.
Straight away, the referee ensuring that he is in charge here. Those are the weights in kilos. 901 for the Pumas, 892 for Scotland. So not a huge difference in pack weights.
Touch. Ball, engage.
It was pretty even last week in the scrummage. It was very neat work at the back there. First of all from Rory Lawson, and then smartly dealt with by centre Max Evans, who's come into outside centre due to the fact that Danieli's been brought into the side. Straight into the line goes Hugo Southwell, the fullback.
Offside number 2.
And offside has been given against Mario Ledesma there, so the Scots have an advantage being played here. Ball carried forward again. It's a low tackle, this one on Danieli. First time he gets it. Now Dan Parks, can the Scots exploit some space out wide? Knocked forward in the end by Kelly Brown, but there is no advantage.
Number 2 white.
The decision from Christophe Berdo, and it will be a penalty to Scotland on their own at 10-yard line, which Felipe Pontepomi wants to question. Argentina, of course, with another international coming up next weekend. That one against France. It's a long clearance kick from Dan Parks, which finds its mark.
Okay.
Once again, an opportunity now to rebuild.
Yeah, inside.
France playing in the Churchill Cup at the moment. Went down to Canada in midweek. Beautifully rolled forward there by the Scots. Try scorer Jim Hamilton. Beautifully laid back for Rory Lawson again. Solid platform built by Scotland. Not fast ball though. They decide to just set it again. Solid platform this time for the backs. Dan Parks popped into the middle, carried on by Graham Morrison. Again released for Parks. Quick hands there from Max Evans. Southwell had Sean Lamont outside him. Southwell carries the ball well, back up to the edge of the 22. Scotland again look to go through the backs. Jim Hamilton pops it inside to Alan Jacobson. Fast ball again from Scotland. Hugo Southwell sees half a gap there. Quickly fired wide. Sean Lamont can't get it away. Southwell back on the ball. It was Max Evans who made the half break just a second ago. I do beg his pardon. Now Dan Parks. Scotland again building through the middle. They haven't made any ground. In fact, they've been driven back a very long way by the Pumas. And Parks is going to go for the big drop goal. He's got a mighty boot on him. Struck very well indeed. But that one drifting just wide. And so no addition to the Scottish score. They were rather running into a brick wall of defence there from the Pumas. Well, here is the effort from Parks. Almost the halfway line. Such a difference altitude makes to kicking. So, Contepomi with the 22 dropout, collected by Sean Lamont. Looks options left and right, decides to carry the ball on his own and takes it over the halfway line. Now gets support from his forwards. Release back, and Parks this time with a little chip through to put the Argentines on the back foot. Well kept in play by Maxim Rodriguez. And he then finds touch just shy of his own 10-yard line. The stand-in fullback usually prefers to play at 10, but that's position, of course, being occupied by his skipper Felipe Contepomi today.
Blue, just the line, thank you.
Line out this time, Jim Hamilton doesn't get it, and hooked back towards Scottish side, but it was knocked forward in the line out by Jim Hamilton. 10 minutes played, Scotland leading by 7 points to 0 against Argentina. We've seen very little from the Pumas so far, and the Scots will be very pleased. I'm sure that coach Andy Robinson will be delighted with the way that his side had started here. They were very loose and let the game begin in a very open style a week ago, and were punished for that. On this occasion it's far tighter, and thus far Dan Parks is making the Argentines pay with excellent play with the boot. Fernandez lob with the break off the back of the scrummage. The number 8 now sets it up to the new scrum half, Figueroa. And as soon as it becomes open, the Argentines look a very much better side. Jim Hamilton with a little altercation there with his opposite number, Albacete. Both men sizable beasts. In the second row, Christophe Berdo wants a word now.
Listen to me, okay, thank you.
Manuel Carriza.
Change of behavior, nothing. Scum. Okay, thanks.
He leaves Manuel Carriza alone. It is Albacete and Jim Hamilton who he has a word with.
What's the time on? No ball. No more. Stay. No, stay.
So with the rain continuing to tip down here in Del Plata.
Touch.
Crowd not quite as big as the Pumas would have perhaps wanted.
No, steady.
Christophe Berdo wants to get control of this scrummage very quickly indeed. He's had words, Mario de Ledesma and Rodrigo Ronquero.
Thank you.
Both of them upset there. Christophe Berdo, of course, using French to speak to the majority of the Argentines, most of whom ply their trade in the top 14 in France. As a consequence, speak far better French than they do English. It's a free kick awarded to Argentina here, and taken quickly by Figueroa, and he goes straight to Ledesma, and it's the Clermont hooker who charges forward, and finally the Argentine crowd have something to cheer about. Fernandez lob takes it straight into contact with Max Evans. Good tackle by the outside centre for Scotland. Scottish defence looking strong. Felipe Contepomi almost manages to avoid the tackle of Ross Ford. Now fired out to Fernandez lob once again as the Argentines pile forward for the first time in this game. Figueroa looks at his options, dancing sideways, now fired back a rather unsympathetic pass to Contepomi, and the fly half has plenty to do there. Sets it well though for the number 9. Now into the path of Ledesma again as Argentina go through the forwards for the second time and pick up their first.